yeah, it's another Monday. It's another crazy time. What has Donald Trump done today? What is the world going through today? We've got that and so much more. Tim Walz has dropped out of the Minnesota governor's race. Wonder why? That's a very interesting question. Of course, we're going to have our supernatural AI update tonight. We're going to do breaking news. We're going to go a deep dive tonight into what Venezuela is really all about, what's going on. It's not just about oil. Oil's part of it. It's not just about oil. It goes much further than that. We got a special guest tonight that's going to join us in probably about 20 or 30 minutes. And when he comes in, he is going to do a deep dive and break down intelligence that he is getting from the inside of Washington and from other places around the world, telling us exactly what really is going on in Venezuela. It's going to blow your mind. It's big.
You're watching The Big Picture.
Yes, you are watching The Big Picture, and you are looking at the Queen right now as she comes in.
Let's do it.
She's in the house. Wow.
What a week.
How many times do we say that? Every single week? Do we say that?
It feels like every single week. This is January 5th, and it feels like it should be like January 23rd, 22nd.
It really does.
I don't know. Does. Feels like we've already lived more of 2026 than we've actually lived.
It's almost like everything's accelerating.
Oh, like an acceleration?
Somebody has a word. Somebody's been preaching a word called acceleration.
Yes, they have.
Whoever it is, if you
is
ding, 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 ding. You need to follow that guy. I mean, he's preaching the word.
I would say that's a good idea.
Well, appreciate it. Hey, listen, we got a show tonight. We got a lot of stuff to cover. A lot of things, as you just said. It just feels like it should be a month into January, but it's only the 5th day of January, and things are getting crazy. I'm gonna slide this further, just a little bit right there.
Just keep it close.
All right,
not too far away.
This was amazing to me that it broke today that Tim Walz is the governor of Minnesota, was all excited to run for a historic third term as governor. And for some reason, he has dropped out following, this is what he says, the massive Somali fraud.
You talk about
scandal.
A shake up. 1 minute you're on top of the world and you're just appearing to be in command of your future, and so many things are going for you, even though, your team lost the big election, you're still getting after it with gusto. And all of a sudden, sorry guys, I'm out of here.
Yep. The ongoing Somali fraud scandal has brought an end to Governor Tim Walz's political career in Minnesota. He announced this morning that he will not seek a third term. In September, I announced that I would run for a historic third term of Minnesota's governor, and I would have had confidence that if I gave it my all, I would succeed in that effort. But as I reflected on that moment with my family and team over the holidays, I came to the conclusion that I can't give a political campaign my all. Every minute I spend defending my own political interests would be a minute that I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who prey on our differences. So I decided to step out of the race and let others worry about the election while I focus on the work. I know this news may come as a surprise, but I'm passing on the race with zero sadness and zero regret. After all, I didn't run for this job so I could have this job. I ran for this job so I could do this job. Minnesota faces an enormous challenge this year, and I refuse to spend even 1 minute of 2026 doing anything other than rising to meet the moment. Minnesota has to come first, always.
One thing that I take away from this story is the bright future that lays ahead for the people that write these statements. I think they have a future. If there was a path forward for Hollywood, I would nominate the writer of this statement to have a bright future. But since Hollywood is crumbling, I don't really know what that means for them, but still, kudos on the writing.
Kudos on the writing. But what's this? This is breaking. Who now jumps into the race? But none other than Senator Amy Klobuchar and Attorney General Keith Ellison and Secretary of State Steve Simon are all seen as possible candidates. Now, watch this. This is what's crazy. The rumor is that Amy Klobuchar is going to run for governor, and if she becomes governor, she's going to appoint Tim Walz as the senator in her place.
What?
Yes. That was leaked tonight that her plan is she wants to go over and be governor, and then she's going to make him and ride him into senator.
Okay, I have a question. Was it not Tim Wall's wife who, when things were burning,
Oh, yeah.
said they opened the windows and smelled, what was it? How did she put it?
The infrastructure burning, the sweet smell of infrastructure or something like that.
So happy.
She could smell.
It was like a gather around the, everybody hold hands and let's just gather around and relish in this moment. If I was there, if I had my way, I would get that video clip and I would put it on loop and I would just repeat.
I am sure that this has nothing to do with this.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building.
Potentially the largest fraud scandal in U.S. history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud.
So I'm sure that has nothing to do with his decision to choose to serve the people of Minnesota by stepping out of the governor's race.
Wow.
Nothing whatsoever.
Well, what you just said is a revelation. I did not know that was in the works.
About Klobuchar?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, one thing that is not really being covered by the mainstream news is that last night, someone tried to break in J.D. Vance's Ohio home. Suspect identified as William Dufour smashes windows with a hammer, trying to, and this is the amazing thing about the mainstream media. It's being spun as vandalized his home. But he was trying to break the windows to get in the home. So it's not, they're trying to spin it because words mean things.
Right.
That's one thing that Rush Limbaugh used to say all the time. He would say, words mean things. Remember that. Words mean things. Man, did we miss him.
So much.
A man was arrested after windows were broken at Vice President J.D. Vance's Cincinnati home overnight. U.S. Secret Service confirmed the arrest after the man was taken into custody. The residence was unoccupied at the time of the incident. Vice President and his family were not in Ohio. The Secret Service spokesman said potential charges are being reviewed by the local U.S. Attorney's Office. A hammer was found at the scene where the suspect broke the windows at the home. So this is a little video clip here of the windows. And it just seems like, this is not a big deal. But the reason I'm showing this is because this is a continued example of the left. And I know there's people on the right too, but the left is just in rage. And they are not slowing down or stopping. There is violence going on that side.
Yes.
Serious violence. I mean, so much so that they've assassinated people. They've tried to assassinate people, and they are burning buildings and just going up and fighting people and all this in these protests in the street, y'all. Yes, there's people on the right, but nothing like what's happening on the left, and they're being fueled by the media, and it's disgusting.
Certainly, as always, there's so few companies that own most all of the media, and when they want to get a word out, when the memo comes down, they have control, so much control that they can push the message and the narrative out. And obviously, most of the time, it's a left-leaning liberal message. Okay,
people are saying that it was a transgender. Now, I did notice that he did look a little different. People are saying, was that a woman? And somebody says it's transgender. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, but you know what? I mean, I don't mean this to sound hateful, but the reality is this: I wouldn't be surprised because that seems to be a pattern.
Sounds like a familiar pattern, doesn't it?
Now, of course, we're going to get into, for the next segment here, a deep dive into the biggest news that's going on around right now. It's just shocking what happened. This has been so crazy. Was it yesterday?
Right. Yes.
It happened yesterday, right? Okay, It wasn't 2 days ago. Was it 2 days ago?
Saturday.
Saturday. Saturday?
This is Monday.
This is Monday.
This happened on Saturday.
I forget what
correct?
day it is. I don't know.
Guys, help us out. It's
I think
so
it was,
much.
I think it was January 3rd. I think so.
Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so bottom line is this. They go into Venezuela, and it's total 3 hours. The whole thing, 3 hours. The whole capture of Maduro was within minutes. Now, look, we're going to cover tonight that this was a preview and basically, I would say, a revelation of the things that we talk about on this show. There is video of several people doing live streams in Venezuela, and all of a sudden, all the power goes out, and then the sirens for bombs come on, and the warning. So, and
Watched
even
one of those with you. It was very interesting.
very interesting. And remember, Trump said, you know, we came into darkness because
It's really dark.
it was really dark. And he
Really
says,
dark.
And then he lets the cat out of the bag. He says, it's dark because we have the ability to affect the darkness. You know, basically, he was saying we turned the lights out on Caracas, and they went in a matter of minutes. It was spun this way, in a positive way for the right. The right was, you know, we got in there a few minutes. There was no casualties. There was no reported damage to any of our helicopters and everything that was involved. Right. But it's coming out today that several people were killed on their side. And here's the shocking thing that
You mean guards. You're talking specifically about guards.
Maybe even civilians. I don't know. But this is what's coming out right now that they're admitting to. And this is what's interesting. And I don't know if many of you have heard this. How interesting is this? That he was surrounded by all Cuban security, and 32 Cuban security personnel confirmed killed during the U.S. operation to extract Maduro.
Very curious.
So look at this. This is the Cuban security detail for this photo op of one. I don't know when this was. He's out jogging. All these are supposedly Cuban that's around him. Cuban security was not enough for Maduro. After the U.S. performed the stunning nighttime operation to extract dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to justice in a New York courthouse, details are starting to come to light that confirm that the tyrant of Caracas was nothing but a Cuban puppet. It turns out that Maduro's security detail contained dozens of army and intelligence personnel, and many were killed during the firefight. This may be only the beginning, as Cuba is expected to be one of the next targets of Donald J. Trump. We'll get into that tonight. But yeah, how interesting is this?
What did you just call him? What was that term? A Cuban
puppet. A Cuban puppet. Nothing but a Cuban puppet.
Well, I'll tell you this. Geographically, is it pretty much a straight shot from Cuba?
Yeah, it's not that far. And see, the thing is, Cuba is basically doesn't have an economy. So it's now being revealed, and Donald Trump reveals that Cuba has been keeping, Venezuela has been keeping Cuba alive.
Cuba yesterday in his remarks. Does the U.S. have a plan to do something?
Well, Cuba always survived because of Venezuela. Now they won't have that money coming in. They won't have the income coming in. You know, a lot of Cubans were killed yesterday. You know that. A lot of Cubans were killed.
Do you know how many?
The bodyguards. No, they're looking, but there was a lot of death on the other side. No death on our side.
Okay. So when he says, you know, a lot of Cubans were killed yesterday, that kind of makes sense, right? The way he likes to drop comments and just say things that if you're not paying attention, which quite frankly, I missed that the first go around until you said possible Cuban puppet. I mean,
yeah.
does that kind of track? Whatever.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm laughing again. I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay.
You get blowback. Just go get mad at you. Hey, look.
I'm trying. I'm going to be more aware.
You're doing good, mate.
Okay, thanks.
So look, did CJ change his name?
CJ, you changed his name?
What is his name? The what? The NX user? CJ, what are you doing? Is there like? He's one of our moderators, y'all. This is one of my right hand men. The NX user,
Linux user, Linux user.
I thought that was my wife, who has no technology. She knows nothing about tech. Figured it out for me.
I did.
The Linux user.
That's
what it is.
That ought to be worth a few points.
That was worth some points. But look what Marco Rubio said. Talking about Cuba. I think they're in a lot of trouble. Rubio signals Cuba is next. The target that's coming up next reveals that Cubans control Venezuelan intelligence by guarded Maduro.
Is there any end to this list? Because according to him, Venezuela obviously just got it. Cuba's in trouble. Iran's in trouble. Mexico's in trouble. Who else is on the list?
There's a lot of people in trouble right now.
You better watch it.
Well, let's go there. And then we're going to bring our guest in just a moment. Trump hints at possible military operations in Colombia and Mexico. Expects Cuba's downfall. President Donald Trump warned on January 4th that drug traffickers in Colombia and Mexico could be facing action by the U.S. military, while predicting that Cuba's communist regime is likely to fall after precision U.S. airstrikes in Venezuela that led to the capture of its leader. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One, Trump was asked whether the United States will pursue military actions against Colombia, to which he replies, "Sounds good to me." Colombia is very sick too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's not going to do that very long, let me tell you. He said, seemingly referring to Colombian President Gustavo Petro.
Look out, Bogota.
Yeah. Trump also warned the United States might have to, quote, do something with Mexico, end quote, in regards to drug smuggling, saying the country's government is not doing enough to combat drug cartels. Mexico has to get their act together before they're pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something. We'd love Mexico to do it. They're capable of doing it, but unfortunately, the cartels are very strong in Mexico. Trump noted that he has offered U.S. troops to Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum each time they have talked to help combat drug trafficking in Mexico. But despite her concern, Sheinbaum was just not willing and a little afraid. When asked about possible military action in Cuba, Trump said that won't be necessary, as he expects the country to fall on its own now that it has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. I think it's going to fall. I don't think we need any action. Colombia, Mexico, and Cuba have strongly denounced the U.S. airstrikes. Surprise. But you know what? There's a lot of rumors going around right now, and I think we need to bring in somebody that's going to help us understand what's going on. One of the great friends that I've come to know that has become a quick friend of mine, he's been on our show, is none other than Pastor Todd Coconato.
Yes.
And it is amazing how God is using pastors and spiritual leaders to report news and then give a biblical perspective. So we got a big show tonight. I've asked him to come on here for about 30 minutes to break down some of me and you. We're both going to ask him questions. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you a clip from Paul Begley. And then I'm going to show you some other stuff that I found out today that takes it even further. But without further ado, let's bring in our guest, Todd Coconato. Man, this night's already been crazy, but we're gonna still be crazy, but we're gonna bring some balance because one of my good friends, and he's become a great friend. He's a powerful man of God. He's from the Nashville area. His name's Pastor Todd Coconato.
You know he's got his finger on the pulse.
They no doubt about it. I mean, he stole the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say those exact words.
Yes.
That's how because we flow together. We think alike.
He's plugged in.
He's plugged in. And I love when something is breaking, there's certain voices that you trust. And when something's breaking, you look for them to be saying something.
Absolutely.
And I think about, most people here love Paul Begley. I look at Paul, but also look for Todd, because Todd has not only got his finger on the pulse of what is going on in the kingdom, he has great connections in Washington and around the world, from his ministry life as well as from his past life in entertainment. He's got all kinds of connections. So we've asked him to join us tonight. So ladies and gentlemen, Big Picture family, welcome to the Big Picture, the one and only Pastor Todd Coconato.
Hey, so good to be with you both. You're doing an amazing job. I love your broadcast. Thank you for having me on, man.
Well, thank you, Pastor. It is our honor to have you. And, these Monday night shows, they just seem to be falling here lately in the middle of just really viral moments. And God has really been growing our channel through these Monday nights because people are looking for a kingdom perspective. What is God saying right now? What is really going on? That's why we call it the Big Picture. So, Pastor, we're going to get right into it because people want to know the first question I have for you is this, because everybody says this, and I watched the video that you did the other night, and you addressed this. They say, well, this is just about oil. This is all about oil. So my first question is this really just about us controlling oil? And the second question, you take as long as you want to take, what was this really all about? What is really going on, Pastor?
Yeah, wow. It's a loaded question. First of all, just want to tell everybody that knows me and maybe somehow they come on my stream, you need to follow this show because you're doing an epic job of covering, as you were saying about what we're doing here. You're doing a great job, both you and your wife. Let me say this. So with the oil, I mean, is there obviously great oil in Venezuela? Are they one of the most oil-rich countries in the world? Yes. And they have a special, like a thicker oil that our refineries actually are built for. And so the United States does rely on Venezuelan oil, and it's important for us to have Venezuelan oil. But of course, we have our own oil. So that's not really the big picture here. Let me talk about the big picture here. Number one, President Trump has been attacking the cartels and the fentanyl that's been coming into our country. And one of the first things he did, Larry and Sandy, is he went in negotiation with a trade deal with China. And in that negotiation was very adamant about making sure that those chemicals stop flowing from China to these cartels. So it's a whole supply chain that we have to understand here. The ingredients that are used to make fentanyl, number one, he went after, okay? Then you have the Maduro regime, which, number one, they were not elected democratically. It was a rigged election, surprise, surprise. And that was even something that the Biden administration said. So he was an illegitimate leader. About 30 years ago, Venezuela was one of the most wealthy countries per capita in the world, and it was a very successful country. And then communism crept in, and then they lost everything to the point where literally kids were eating from garbage cans. So you got to understand the progression from being the most wealthy country in South America to being this place that's just a hellhole, right? So fast forward, it's become a capital of narco terrorism, trafficking. You got Hezbollah, Hamas, you got terrorist organizations that are working out of there. It's also now China that's crept in. And if anybody recalls, there used to be an American policy which was upheld under the Reagan administration and for decades called the Monroe Doctrine. And what President Trump is essentially doing is he's implementing, a new version of the Monroe Doctrine where he's looking at our Western hemisphere and he's saying we can't allow communism to encroach in our hemisphere. Now, let me tell you something else that you're not going to hear a lot of places. Russia was looking to actually put hypersonic missiles. It's almost like a 2.0 of the Cuban Missile Crisis, but put hypersonic missiles in Venezuela, which would have been a massive national. I mean, they would have gotten here in 15 minutes. It's not even. So, that's major problem from a security standpoint. You got the cartels operating out of there, trafficking both drugs and humans. And then you have, of course, the oil is important. Now, here's another thing about the oil. The oil so what's been happening with the embargo and the trade sanctions that are on Russia, they've been going around that by utilizing Venezuela. So Venezuela is like a hub where, Russia's using the oil to trade it to the rest of the world, getting massive amounts of money, funding the Ukraine war. Then you got, China encroaching in there, which they've done on many of the countries in South America, building key infrastructure, loaning these governments, getting in there like they did with the Panama Canal. And so all of our adversaries are basically camping out in there. And let's talk about another layer. What about the caravans? Remember during the Biden administration, those caravans, they were going through Venezuela. They were going through these NGOs. And so here's how I explain it to our audience on Firepower is that there's three, like if you picture a stool, there's three major fundings that President Trump has gone after. Okay. And that's on top of everything I just mentioned. He's gone after USAID, if you remember with Doge. And USAID there was a lot of corruption. Okay. We'll just say a lot of corruption. And a lot of that was being, sent to NGOs and a lot of organizations that should have never seen any of that money. So it wasn't really us doing what our initial mission was with USAID. It was funding all these, even we found that even some of the money came back to George Soros, which we've always wondered, how does this guy have so much money? So he cut USAID, which was a death blow to a lot of that. Okay. But there's still other legs of funding. And one of them is the Ukraine war. So all the money that we've been sending to Ukraine, not all that money makes it to where it's supposed to go. A lot of it goes to oligarchs. It goes to corruption. We've even found where it goes all the way back to the Middle East, including some of the equipment that's been sent and the weaponry. So that's just bizarre. So you got Ukraine, you got USAID, another major pillar here or stool, one of the legs is Venezuela. So by cutting off all these things and now, putting a show of force all around Venezuela while a Chinese delegation was
I was going to ask you about that.
in Venezuela. They were
They were there. They were there. They were on the ground. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, Pastor, the last public meeting that Maduro had was with the Chinese delegation, a photo op and all of that.
I think that was on purpose. If you recall, both his meeting with Putin and Xi Jinping, President Trump, had planes fly over. He was meeting with Xi Jinping one time and literally did a strike. I think it was in Syria as he was meeting with Xi. And here's another thing. So Russia, they've relied on a lot of these rogue regimes like Venezuela, like the Assad regime, which has now been toppled under, the first year of Trump. So, the legs are all getting taken out. And that's what people have to understand from a macro standpoint. As you zoom out, they are closing in on the funding of the deep state. And what people also probably don't really understand is that the corrupt elements of our intel community, the regime change type CIA types, they've also been, involved in funding some of this narco terrorism. So President Trump has an internal war that he's dealing with the intelligence community. Then he's dealing with the external, with our adversaries abroad and the cartels. And I think what he's trying to do, Pastor Larry, is I think he's going for the jugular. I think he's looking at the head of the snake and saying, we need to take out, think about it as a pastor. How many families do you know that have been, hurt so badly by fentanyl abuse, by drug addiction, cocaine addiction? I mean, could you imagine? This is a real war on drugs. This is one that's going to have lasting implications. And think about the thousands, if not millions of lives that are being probably going to be saved from what just happened. So this was a real risk. And, he took a risk. It was a gamble, but it was a calculated move. And militarily, they went in precision and were able to extradite Maduro without any casualties, without any loss of equipment. And it really was a massive show of force to our enemies. And I think
that's what I was about to ask you. I mean, I've heard several people comment on the world, the Chinas and the Russias and all this. They're shook because they realize that they do not have a military that could pull something off like this, that this is so rare. So we're so used to like video games and movies. You see in the helicopter and somebody dropping that. We're talking about real life here.
Real lives.
And what is his name? Raising Cane.
General Raising Cane.
General Raising Cane. I mean, he was basically saying, look, you guys don't really fully understand and appreciate what went down. That it's so rare to be able to pull something like this off. Sandy, you jump in here too if you got any questions.
I just want to say two things. Number one, I want to note on how this went down. Even what the president said about it was dark. It was very dark.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Alluding to or dancing around the idea that we've got weapons to knock the power out. Were you feeling that? And that was very interesting to me. But what you said a moment ago about cut the head of the snake off, this one operation was huge. This weekend was huge. But even as this was getting wrapped up, he is sending warning shots out to Mexico. I'm going to deal with your cartels.
Colombia.
And Iran.
And Iran now.
Iran.
So
we're going to cut the head off the snake of these other two places and come in here and take care of y'all's business too?
All right, so you just set my question up perfectly, and we didn't even plan that.
No,
that's how well we flow together. Because here was going to be my question. Is number one, you're talking about how Venezuela is like a leg on that stool. I love that analogy. That so much stuff goes through that. Nobody knew that his entire security was Cuban. To number one. Yeah. So now it's being reported that 20 or 30 Cubans around him were killed in the process. So we know that is a payoff. That's how Cuba has survived, is through that. But then as Sandy was saying, what we are hearing, I don't know if you've heard this, is that supposedly there was a meeting that went down. Not only is he publicly threatening Cuba and Colombia and all this, there supposedly was an intelligence briefing that people have leaked out that he has now contacted the Ayatollah in Iran, in the midst of all that's going on in Iran, and said, you got a shot to surrender, get out, have safe passage out now, or you're going to have the same thing happen to you that happened to Maduro. Have you heard anything like this?
I have. And, it was interesting that you had heard the same thing because this is kind of breaking. But, let me just address a few things that you said before I forget. Maduro's regime, to your point with the Cubans, they've been pretty much keeping Cuba afloat. So this is going to be a major weakening of the Cuban government. And of course, that's not a friendly government there either. So there's a real possibility that we could see Cuba fall, which would be epic. Okay. So that's one other piece there. 97% reduction in drug boats since the U.S. has had their military surrounding Venezuela. That's a massive drop. I mean, 97% reduction, because you got to think that, the Somali, all the pirates and everything, none of them are doing anything right now because they're all worried the U.S. has half their Navy parked out there. So all of a sudden the waters got safer. So now let's talk about, Colombia is on notice. You have the Colombian leader literally saying, come get me. I don't think that's a wise thing for him to be saying right now. President Trump is very emboldened by what just happened. There's another, President Trump mentioned Greenland. He's still looking at Greenland as something that he believes we need to go there because, Russia and China are, again, all over Greenland from a strategic standpoint. So let's put a comma there. And now we go to Iran, which really is, the largest state sponsor of terror in the world. And, ever since the Ayatollah Khomeini has been in power there, it's never been the people of Iran. The people of Iran are not bad. It's the leadership that has been awful. And there's been several times over the years, even not so long ago, where the people have had these types of protests and they were horribly, people were shot and killed and it was so awful. And during the Biden administration, they did not have support for regime change. President Trump I think he's supportive of this. And I think even more so than we even realize. And this is a really pivotal moment. So I would just ask all Christians right now to be praying, because if this regime in Iran falls, it will be the biggest piece of the puzzle probably in our lifetime. Wow. Since maybe the fall of the Soviet Union. But that's how significant, because everything on the world map is going to change. The Middle East will instantly have a vacuum where Iran was, which, they fund Hezbollah, Hamas, they're against all the Abraham Accord countries. So, it will change everything for Israel. It will change everything for the United States. They also have sleeper cells in America, by the way, and, are funding terror all around the world. So that would be, to our point, the real head of this. It would be massive. It would be massive implications for Russia. They would be very isolated, and China. And so the other variable right now that we have to consider is there going to be a response from Russia and China? And that's what a lot of my intel people are talking about, was there some type of deal where President Trump talked to Russia and China in back channels, and they kind of gave the nod that he could go into Venezuela and secure our hemisphere, with a Monroe Doctrine 2.0. But was there potentially discussion? Well, and you can get land in Ukraine, and we'll kind of give you that. And were there some things that were negotiated? Maybe with China, I don't know. So this is something that some people are questioning right now, and they think we'll see in the next couple of months. But it's almost like the world is being divided up into three sectors versus the World Economic Forum, UN Agenda 2030, One World Government Plan.
Which is going to be here in just a matter of days. World Economic Forum is right around the corner. I cannot wait to see what's going to actually come out this year, because they've got to be scared to death. They've never, even with the Trump first version, that wasn't this Trump. And it's like, so this Agenda 2030, they've never given up on that idea. So that's what I'm calling this year. I feel, for me personally, the Lord is telling me that it's the year of acceleration. Yes. And I believe so many things are going to accelerate spiritually, physically, geopolitically, economically. And I think that when you talk about 2030, to get to those 17, I call them unsustainable goals, they're going to have to really accelerate. But I'll bring you back for another show on that one. But so let's go back to what you're saying about Iran. So if Iran, you're saying that do you really legitimately feel like that Iran could actually turn, and okay, let me say it this way. Do you think he would actually go in and do what he did to Maduro, or is that a threat and they just sort of see it crumbling on its own, or do you think we would actually do that? Because I just got a feeling that if we did that, if we went into Iran, that's different than Venezuela on another level.
It seems
A major difference. Am I right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, with Russia and China, that would be an act of war. You know, they have a military relationship with Iran, and of course, they rely heavily on Iranian oil. So, yeah, no, that'd be a pretty significant thing. But I think what is happening, and I have to be careful what I say because I don't want to share too much, but people have told me, and I'm not saying it's classified, but, you know, they've alluded to some things, that there are operators from the United States and from our allies on the ground right now in Iran that are active. And it is an active, they're giving everything that they can from that perspective. So I think if President Trump saw us backed against the wall and the only option was to do some type of precision, you know, maybe he would consider that because he is pretty emboldened right now. But I think they're weighing the options with Iran. Here's what I've heard, Larry and Sandy. So, you know, this is interesting. The military installations, some of them have been abandoned already. The police stations in Iran, this is 10 days straight of significant protests. And President Trump has given them an ultimatum. If you touch any of your citizens, if you kill any of your citizens, then we're going to consider that an act of war and we're going to go in there. So he's kind of laid out a red line, like, hey, you can't touch, like in the past where they have killed, you know, innocent civilians or protesters. That is not, you know, in the current situation, President Trump has put a red line there. If you do that, we're going to come in. So I will tell you this, military is moving all over the planet. U.S. military right now is very active in positioning. Many people have been called up that I know and are being deployed. And so clearly we are in a very active season. And I think we're going to see this year, let me tell you something. And you said it spot on, because the Lord said the same thing to me. He said, things are going to happen fast this year. And you know, just coming into the first week of the new year, look what's happening. I mean, you have the corruption of the Somali fraud scandal in Minnesota, which is far greater than Minnesota. It goes all over the United States. And that's come out. You had the Maduro regime basically falling, you know, at least him being, you know, taken out and brought into justice here in the United States. You have Iran, which is now in its 10th day of protest. We're only in the 5th day of 2026. So I would say buckle up and be ready. And, you know, here's another piece that we haven't mentioned. I need to be careful about this due to censorship. But, you know, 2020, there is a large factor that is also connected to 2020 with Venezuela. And I think most people know what I'm talking about. And that, President Trump has been, you know, retruthing and putting up a bunch of videos on Truth Social about that. And I know it's on his mind. And we know that there's plenty of evidence. I remember doing an event with Sidney Powell in Plant City, Florida. And when she was out there on the circuit talking, and you know, the stuff that she said in 2020 is still right today. And she went through a whole legal storm, and so did, you know, many other people over that. But I think there's still more to be said there and more to happen with that.
Well, we're going to, as you said, we're going to be very, very careful how we say this because they're very strict on this. I will just say that I did listen to a video from that timeline with Sidney Powell today. And all I can say is that she said, we have evidence to show that there was a system, we'll just call it a system, that was created to fraudulently elect Maduro. And that this system that was created in Venezuela is being used by other governments in their elections as well. And so you can do them, you can go do your own research to find out what system she was talking about. But y'all, it was originated in Venezuela, invented and created in Venezuela. So let's go further in that. So I have had people tell me off the record that this is not about just about oil. Don't buy into that. It's not about oil. That it is really about, and I think you've already somewhat answered this, there is a huge deep state element in play here. That there are kickbacks on a level that we can't even imagine. Because I'm thinking about, you were talking about Iran. One of the things that our Big Picture family knows, Sandy and I have covered that one of the number one, if not the number one superior drone manufacturer in the world is Iran. And Iran is funding and creating drones to sell to Russia for the war in Ukraine. Well, it came out this week, and we covered tonight on our show. We've already showed you that tonight, that one of their major manufacturing hubs to manufacture these drones to go back to Iran to sell to the world was in Venezuela. Had you heard that?
I did. Well, because it's this whole network. It's this ubiquitous network of, they're all connected. You got Venezuela, Iran, Russia, China. They're all kind of working together. And they're proxies, like Cuba. I mean, they're proxies of the communists in the world. And so they share, military equipment, intelligence, all that stuff. So, obviously China is the number one drone producer pretty much in the world. And then, they're also sharing some of that technology and going back and forth like we do with Israel and other of our allies, so that's happening. So, there's an AI arms race, as you know, I think it was Project Stargate. It's one of the biggest infrastructure projects in history that President Trump rolled out almost on his first, I think it was like one of his first things that he did.
Yes.
And one of the things that we're working on right now here in the United States is 6th generation aircraft, which I think if I recall, I think the contract went to Boeing, which was like saved Boeing from like a death spiral because they've been having a lot of problems the last couple of years. But if they develop this 5th generation aircraft fighter, which is going to kind of replace the F-35 and be the next generation, what was so cool about this, so interesting, is that it's like a mothership and then it has a bunch of drone ships around it. Have you seen this?
Wow. I have,
And so it's like one ship with like this crazy AI component, that's like where the fighter is. And then the ones around them are all drones, but they look like fighter jets. And so they're doing like some of the tough maneuvers that to kind of, so this is the type of stuff that's coming out in 6th generation. And we're in an arms race right now with AI with China. So when you talk about drones, I mean, we've seen the use of drones in the Ukraine war, and they've been such a big factor. And this is really the first war where we've seen it to this level. So a lot of things have been tested on the battle. I mean, Ukraine doesn't even have a military barely. I mean, their whole military is propped up by the Western countries and NATO alliance. So, and our funding. So the reason why the war is still going is because they've been utilizing drone technology. And so there's a major fight for AI and for drones and for 6th generation equipment. And I think this all kind of goes to what we're talking about right now.
Well, I can feel this, and Sandy, you may help me word this a little bit better because I know you're probably thinking this too, is I can feel it. I can feel the pushback in the live chat. I can feel it in the comment section. Yeah. They're saying things like, this guy's he's made Trump out to be God. Trump is perfect and all that. We know that's not true. But what I'm saying is, people are going to say, and I want to get your answer to this. Number one, as someone who's got their finger on the pulse. Number two, as a pastor. Trump came into office that he was going to solve wars.
Right.
And I'm sure you're seeing it in your comment section. We're seeing it in the comment section as well. It's like, well, okay, this is not what we voted for. He's all about regime change. Even the one of Redacted's titles tonight, breaking, CIA planning multiple new regime change operations. Yeah. So, I don't think we did vote to be the world's police. And but I want us to just both sides of the coin and you give your raw answer to what do you say to the critics that would say it looks like same old here. Trump, somebody's got to him, and we're trying to be the world's police.
Well, none of these are easy questions. And, I really appreciate this discussion. I appreciate the questions you're asking because they're the right questions. So obviously I'm a preacher. I'm an evangelist. I'm a pastor. That's my heart is soul winning. When President Trump got the reins, when he took over and got inaugurated, he basically inherited a country that was on an organized collapse. They were basically a demolition. It was like controlled demolition of the U.S. from being a superpower, and that's part of Agenda 2030. Is U.S. would be one of many versus the world superpower. The dollar was on the down. You had the BRICS rising, and there was even talk that the U.S. could lose global reserve. And so when President Trump came, when he came in, it was like the U.S. was on life support. So what he did was he initiated tariffs, and tariffs were able to quickly bring in large sums of money, which has helped our economy. Because think about it, we still, as the global reserve currency, we're sending out paper dollars, fiat currency, and we're getting back goods from all around the world. And as countries have been de-dollarizing and countries have been doing bilateral trade deals and going around the dollar, it's been very destabilizing. And this has been the intent of the globalists is seeing an end to, because they hate our Constitution, they hate our ability to have religious liberty and freedom in the United States, and they look to China. Many people, all the publications and the articles for years have been saying China is rising and the U.S. is on the decline. That's all by intent. That's intentional. So what he's done is he's essentially slowed that And he's eventually trying to reverse it. And what he's doing is, first of all, he did the tariffs. That kind of stopped the hemorrhaging a little bit, okay? It's brought in, some say even trillions of dollars into our economy. Then he went out and you remember he went and renegotiated trade deals with China, with the EU, all around the world, and level setted these very imbalanced trade deals. And by doing that, he secured several trillion, I think it's like 17, like some crazy number of money that's going to be coming back. And what he's going to do is he's going to rebuild the manufacturing. So right now, if the U.S. were to lose the global reserve overnight, not only would the dollar intrinsically lose like 40% of its value, we'd see hyperinflation and we'd probably go into a very bad depression for many years. And many people would die, quite frankly. So, what it looks like they're doing right now is they've slowed that and they're giving the dollar another run here. It's kind of like Joseph Z and I talk about, one more round, right? And what I think is happening, and President Trump understands, is that we probably can't sustain, to be world police like all around the world. So they actually changed our defensive posture and our doctrine. I don't know if you saw that, Larry, but they literally put that out not long ago, and it was substantially different. They said Europe's going to have to defend itself. America is really not going to be the one footing all the bills anymore. We're looking more from a defensive posture. We're now going to look more to the Western Hemisphere. So what we're seeing play out is exactly what that doctrine laid out. And so that was a pretty disruptive thing because it really changed the way that we look at the world. And that's where there's the possibility that we could see China go into Taiwan and we might not do anything about that. Now, that sounds pretty crazy, and I'm not saying that we won't, but there could be eventually, I'm talking 3 to 4 years down the line, where the U.S. really focuses on this hemisphere, builds back our infrastructure, brings back jobs in manufacturing, and really becomes a production machine here rather than a service economy again. So there's vast changes that are happening. So why does the preacher care? Well, I'll tell you why I care. Because where they were taking us was where Europe has gone, where you see in Canada them coming after pastors and jailing my friend Arthur Pawlowski and others, for just standing and speaking the truth. They're talking about some of the Bible being hate speech. You see people going out of abortion clinics in Europe where they're literally getting arrested for praying. I mean, it's insane. Street preachers. This is what was planned for America. And if we allow the midterms to be lost, and God forbid a Gavin Newsom were to come in around, that's where they're going to bring us. So we're at a pivotal moment for this country, for religious liberty, for freedom, for the next generation. President Trump's plan is not perfect, and he's certainly not somebody that I put on a religious pedestal at all. But he is the guy that, for whatever reason, God rose up in this time. And there's two choices. You got him or you got the other side, which is part of the globalists. It's really not right and left anymore. It's now communist, globalist, or people that are, more nationalist and America first and want to actually have some sovereignty. So that's kind of what we're dealing with on a grand scale. And it's all kind of hard to keep your finger on. But what I see President Trump doing is bringing back jobs, bringing back manufacturing, securing large investments in our infrastructure in our country, bolstering the military, securing the Western Hemisphere, closing the borders. And that is a pretty big deal. Stopping the drugs, stopping the flow of human trafficking. All these are massive. And in the middle of that, we're fighting internally. We got Mandami that was just, sworn in on a Quran in New York, and we have this major infiltration here that President Trump is trying to stop. And so we're in a battle, and we need to be praying. And so why does the preacher talk about this? Because there's a lot at stake. Our country, our future, our currency, and our religious liberty.
Sandy.
Wow.
Yes. what do you?
Very well said.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. You just took a few moments and put a lot of things into perspective, and you just kind of put them in order. We all hear this, we know this, but you just set them in order to where we can all process that, because there's all these things floating around, they're happening.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't have a very good perspective of what each individual thing is. But I thought what you said helped a lot.
Absolutely. One of the things I told my church Sunday, I preached on, I told myself, I'm going to be parked in Matthew 24 for several months, just off and on. The signs of the end times, the wars, the rumors of wars, pestilence, and of course the days of Noah. It's what I wrote my book about, the final flood that's coming out in April. Thank you. You're one of my endorsers. Thank you so much. But I always tell them, don't forget the most powerful part of all of that is not the days of Noah, the war, the pestilence. It's that he led his answer to the question about the signs of the end times, see that you be not deceived.
Yes.
And what I told our church, I said, what I don't hear preachers preaching is the deception, in my opinion, Pastor, is not going to come from the UFO, the disclosure, and the aliens.
Right.
It's going to come from a church that is weak and anemic because they have listened to the wrong voices. And the fivefold ministry gifts are to equip the saints for the work of the ministry. And the work of the ministry is for our eyes to be open, what's going on. So that is why I was thinking about you today, and I knew he was going to be on our show tonight. And I was thinking, yo, what are you doing right now? And it's like all these pastors like myself, like you, never did we ever dream that we would be newscasters. I mean, that we would be covering the news. That was never on our bingo card. Okay.
That's a great way of putting it.
But I'm like, but God in his infinite wisdom, and quite frankly, a lot of it started during COVID when everybody was at home. God said, okay, people are at home. They need spiritual answers.
Yes.
So Todd Coconato don't even know what I'm doing. Miles Rutherford doesn't know what I'm doing. Mike Signorelli doesn't know what I'm doing. But you know what I'm going to do to Joseph Z? I'm going to just start putting on these preachers' hearts to get on this screen and just start telling the world about what is really going on. And we're going to do it because we love them and we love God. But God, we didn't know it that God would say, but yet, in the end times, you're going to become trusted voices that people will look to for news and breaking news over the mainline media.
What is it, the term Joseph C. is using this last week or so, and Nick Shirley really prompted him to start saying
the young
this.
lions.
Not the young lions, yes, but the was it the solo journalist? Or
what is he? What is that word? I know what you're talking about. It's the if you wouldn't have said that.
Yeah, he's talking about you guys and a lot of other people and people that are not even necessarily in the ministry going out.
Citizen journalists.
And just, reporting what is happening in an untainted way, in not propagandizing anything, just reporting what is happening on the ground.
And I'm sure you're seeing
Unbiased.
this also, Pastor, is people are visiting your church, coming to your church, driving long distances because they're saying to you the same thing they're saying to us. We cannot find this anywhere
else.
So we're going to come here because we need the truth. Are you experiencing that?
100%. No, I mean, everything that you're saying, I'm just like, yes. I mean, it's, I never plan on being a journalist or whatever, but blogs are going out and going viral. It's crazy what God is doing right now. And, the censorship that we were dealing with, especially under the Biden era, that's kind of, it's not gone away fully, but there's been a lift. And I think because they're scared of President Trump, and that has allowed the gospel to get out to so many more people. And, what this is, I mean, the book of Revelation's coming off the pages, we're seeing it. You mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, where it's like, I've been reporting news for a long time. I had a radio show, we talked about prophetic things for pretty long now, and right now the news cycle is so fast. We were just talking about this, that if you pre-record a show like 2 days before, things have changed. It's almost outdated already because things are happening so fast, So I really think that the Lord is requiring us, especially in 26, to be consecrated, to really, seek his face more than ever, and to operate in the gifts, to be that Acts 2 church, to see, for pastors to allow the demonstration, not just preaching, but also allowing the Holy Spirit to move in miracles, signs, and wonders. And I believe that's a big factor of what God is doing right now. We're seeing many people, from my old life, Hollywood, we were just talking to somebody the other day that's like a former singer, and she's like, now giving her life to the Lord. And, people are in the droves. And let me just address something. As when Charlie Kirk died, and he was assassinated, what happened was there was a massive awakening and influx. It was unlike anything that we've seen in a long time, where people that didn't even know who he was started searching, started listening to his content. And because Charlie had so much content, people were like, wow, this guy's talking about some amazing things. He educated in such an articulate way. He had an anointing to do that. And of course, it was a horrific tragedy what happened, but God used it. And all of a sudden there was, a lot of people that were giving their heart to the Lord. I mean, I saw OnlyFans people on X and all these people that were like, we're giving our heart to Jesus because of what happened. And right after that happened, and talk about discernment, if you notice, it was like a few weeks, there was a psychological warfare operation that was launched on the conservative and the MAGA movement, and really against the church. Let's be honest. It was against the Christians, because without the Christians, none of this stuff would have happened. And the praying church that got together before 24 and interceded and prayed, and God responded to the prayers of the righteous and gave us a reprieve and an addition of time so that we can win souls. And so what we're dealing with, it's a distraction. It's a psyop. And many people have tried to pull me into this infighting that's going on in the greater movement. And listen, friends, don't get caught up in that. You got to look at it from a spiritual standpoint and understand what's going on. Discern the times, like an Issachar anointing. Understand and discern what's happening. This is a psyop. This is meant to stall the momentum, to stop the great move of God that's happening and this influx of soul winning. So we got to get back focused on that, and the devil will not have any ground. But if we keep sowing in, and getting into discord and disunity and all this stuff, that's what the devil wants, because then it distracts us from that great influx of souls. And that is still happening, but we've got to take advantage. If the harvest is plentiful, the laborers are few.
Sandy, closing thoughts with Pastor Todd Coconato.
Well, I think he's pretty much taken care of everything and wrapped it all up, put a bow on it.
Hey, you have been a blessing tonight to the Big Picture live show tonight, because people are just, they're needing peace. They just need peace. They need to know that, we're not just trying to be political here. We're not choosing a side. This is not about a donkey or an elephant. This is about the kingdom. And this is about freedom. And we do love our country. There's nothing wrong with loving our country. And we do love our country. But
I think you've helped bring some clarity tonight and help give people some hope, because when you don't understand all of these, it's a lot. It's so many things at one time, and you don't really understand them. Some of them work together, the interlocking parts. Some of them are just kind of independent things going on out there. But when it's confusing, you can lose hope because it just seems like it's overwhelming. It's just too much. And I feel like you've helped bring some clarity and bring some peace tonight.
Amen. And for everybody to know, you wouldn't know, but he is battling some kind of sickness. We don't know if it's the flu or whatever, but y'all, he came on here just for you guys. And he literally told me that before we went on the air, that his wife said, "What are you doing? You cannot do a show." And you said, "I got to do it." You're crazy.
I like Larry and Sandy. They're amazing. I got to go on.
So thank you so much for your time. Now, I hope and pray that you are touched tonight, that you're healed, and that you get plenty of rest. And everybody go over and follow Todd, everything he's doing. ToddCoconato.com, his church there in the Nashville area. If you're anywhere in driving distance, go to his church. It's an amazing church. And of course, follow him on YouTube and everything he's doing. And it won't be long, you'll get to come down to Birmingham and see him as well. So thank you again, Pastor.
We are too.
Thank you so much. I think 2026 is a major part of it is alignment. And so make sure you align with like-minded people of God, like these two that are preaching the word truth. And I thank you for your ministry, my brother.
Amen. God bless. Woo! Come on. Man, that was amazing. People asking, what is his name? Todd Coconato. Go to toddcoconato.com, toddcoconato.com. Find him on YouTube. Follow his stuff. He is phenomenal. That was just tremendous. I mean, I'm talking about that was not just a guest preacher on the show. That was somebody, he brought the receipts, baby.
He's a plethora of information and knowledge. We're so thankful.
And what we say on this show all the time is we love our friends that God has connected us with, because we get the opportunity to spend time with them outside of church services and shows.
Right.
And Todd Coconato is the real deal. He is absolutely sold out to God, and I'm thankful that he came on our show. Y'all, he was battling. He's told me he has the flu
and a fever.
Y'all, when he got on, when he as soon as he went off, he was just wiping sweat off of his face because the fever hopefully was breaking. But his wife is a nurse and told him, Don't do this. What are you doing? And he's like, I love Larry and Sandy, and I love the big picture. I'm going to do it. So we're very, very thankful for that. Let's go back and talk a little bit more about what we talked about on the show already. Iranian drones. This is something that you're not really seeing. We talked about it with Todd, and we want to go a little deeper. Made in Venezuela, Iranian drones. Tehran's axis of resistance expansion strategy just took a hit. You're not going to hear this in the news. Few seem aware of the interwoven strategic geopolitical relationships at play behind the headlines coming from Iran and Venezuela. However, you can rest assured that neither Secretary of State Rubio nor POTUS is so naive. The recent action against Nicolas Maduro was billed as taking aggressive steps against chronic sponsor of narco-terrorism, but the issues are much deeper. At this very moment, a politically diverse range of social media influencers are busy criticizing the intervention. It's about oil, all this. Still, none seem to be aware of the accounting of these deeper geopolitical issues. Now, it goes on. This is just a long writing here, but he brings the receipts and the facts that the core of Iran-Venezuela drone collaboration is Iran and Venezuela have been under heavy U.S. sanctions for years. Both nations share a strategy of technological autarky. Technological autarky is the policy goal of making a country self-sufficient in critical technologies, so it does not rely on foreign nations for the development, production, and maintenance of essential tech systems. So it's just a lot of jargon that goes on to say that in 2022, reports emerged that Venezuela had opened facilities believed to be assembling Iranian drones, possibly under local rebranding such as Ansu 200. But these are some of the drones that were sent to Iran from Venezuela. A Venezuelan version of this drone is at the airbase. So there's more and more evidence that are coming out that Venezuela was not just about oil. It was also about the connection of, I'm not going to use this term other than tonight, but this axis of evil. Remember, that's what Bush said. But there seems to be this, we automatically say China and Russia and then Iran. We always say that. Mm-hmm. But what we're seeing now is there's other countries, smaller countries like Venezuela, that are funding and are a part of this operation of these big names.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, go all the way back to at least the 60s. Russia was in Cuba.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean, he's pretty upset about this whole Western Hemisphere thing. And honestly, I'm really happy about it because, it's hitting a little close to home. And I would like to clean up some of these threats, and there's corruption involved too. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at something. This must be breaking here. Several people are seeing currently explosions and gunfire going on in the Venezuelan capital.
Oh my.
Speaking of drones are being shot down in Venezuela as we speak.
Okay. Let's see
so
if
I
we
love
can
our live chat. Let's see if we can find that.
Something on that.
Okay. Let's see here. Because that's
Bear with us. We're going to use our resources that we
Okay, here we go. Heavy gunfire
in
in Caracas. Let's see this. Breaking coup d'etat in Venezuela. Heavy gunfire in Caracas. Anti-aircraft artillery firing nonstop. Armed groups moving through the city, clashing with government troops.
So does this back up the president's statement that we're not turning it over just yet?
Yeah, oh yeah. It says rumors have been circulating that Maduro's right-hand man, Diosdado Cabello, was planning a coup d'etat against Rodriguez. Apparently, her first decisions were not to the liking of the generals, the highly ideological Bolivarian, how do you say that? Bolivarian. Thank you. Armed Forces of Venezuela. But look, this is heavy gunfire in Caracas. Let's play this.
Yeah.
So footage shows anti-aircraft gunfire in the vicinity of the presidential palace in Caracas, smoke scene in Caracas, Venezuela. See what this is. It's the same video. Their air defense system is like, okay. Let's see what's going on here. All right, so y'all bear with us. This is breaking. We got other news to cover, but this is the news of the day. Let's see what Breitbart is saying. While
you're there and talking about that, I think we're going to be talking about this a little later, but there were reports that, how do you say this? That other military were on the move and possibly headed to Iran.
Yes.
Via Europe.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go there while we're looking for more. In fact, I want to play this clip from our friend Paul Begley because he was out at the head of the game here about Iran. And this was earlier today from his sources.
I went live, and I'm going to do more live broadcasting at Patreon. But I just went live at Patreon, and I want you to go and watch it. If you're not a member of the Patreon channel, please sign up. It's real easy. Now, let me share with you 2 powerful emails I just got just now from one of our government insiders who just came out of a meeting. Here's what we're hearing. President Trump has issued a decisive ultimatum to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's regime and its associates. Surrender or secure a surrender and secure a safe exit. Failure to do so will result in facing the same fate as Maduro, especially amidst the ongoing brutal crackdown on protesting Iranian citizens. So in other words, because you're cracking down, and this is day 9 of the protests by the Iranian population, they want to get rid of the Ayatollah Khamenei, they want to get rid of them. Trump has just issued a decisive ultimatum. Now, I want to read the second. Here is another critical piece of information. Please listen closely.
Okay.
This is from our government insider who said, I just exited the meeting.
Here it is.
We're initiating the movement of significant asset deployments in the Middle East, specifically targeting Iran. They are readily mobilizing the Night Stalkers and other special forces, while Iran is also gearing up its ballistic missile capabilities. I will share further details as they come in. Well, who is the Night Stalkers? Well,
all right. So people are commenting about Dabu in the live chat. So let's just go to the Dabu breaking of it. We have it reading queued up as well.
This is Dabu 7, and it looks like we have a series of events here that are showing that a military operation is about to go down in regards to Iran. We know that Maduro has been captured, and things are kind of fluid with the whole Caribbean. And there's definitely going to be some blowback. Something's going to happen in response to all these moves. You can almost guarantee that. But one thing is for sure. Iran is calling for this right now. They're saying that they're expecting the U.S. and Israel to hit them here within the next 72 hours or so. You can see right here, multiple headlines. They're preparing for a new wave of American-Israeli attacks in the region. And a lot of signs are pointing that way. Another big clue or hint that this is going down is there's been an onslaught of military assets heading across the ocean and into the region, into the area. A ton left out of Fort Campbell here in Kentucky. Wow. And the Night Stalkers that were conducting the whole Maduro raid, they are now heading toward Iran.
All right, so I'm going to stop that. I'll go back to it, but I'm just reading this here. It says the incident, we're talking about the gunfire that's now happening in Caracas. The incident, according to Geo Insider, I don't know if this is true or not because this is only 5 minutes ago. The incident was caused by friendly fire due to confusion. Surveillance drones were deployed without informing ground security units. When personnel on the ground spotted the drones, they mistook them for a threat and opened fire. Confirmation the drones belonged to their own security forces came too late, which prolonged the chaos and led to the gunfire seen in videos online. So yes, it basically confirms that it was their own drones being mistaken as hostile. So it says this other guy with Breaking 9/11 on X says the administration, White House, is closely tracking the reports of gunfire out of Venezuela. The U.S. is not involved. So this is either that as this report is that this was friendly fire and they freaked out and they started shooting their surveillance drones, or this is a coup d'etat. And I would not be surprised if it's a coup d'etat.
I know. And, you don't know the truth until the dust settles sometimes.
Exactly. And you still don't know the truth. Yeah.
Not the full truth.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so let's continue on this path. Before we do that, I want to remind everybody that you can always just go to LarryRagland.com, LarryRagland.com, and when you go there, I want you to go there and go to the events tab. This is sort of time sensitive here. We're going to be headed to Florida tomorrow to preach at a conference in Naples, Florida. Naples.
Naples, Florida, not Nepal. We're not going to. That's a different continent. Last time I checked.
I've been to that country, Nepal, and I have seen.
We're staying on this continent.
Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen. What's the mountain? Tallest mountain in the world?
Everest.
Mount Everest. I've seen Mount Everest. So whatever. Okay, I got a million things going on right now. Okay,
he does.
So go to LarryRagland.com, click events. And then go down to this one right here. Where's it at? Get Ready Conference. The Get Ready Conference is in Naples, Florida. And Sandy and I both will be there. So if you're in driving distance to Naples, Florida, tomorrow night and then Wednesday morning and Thursday morning, we'll be doing the sessions there. And it's free. It's a free conference, but you do have to be registered. We'd love to see you. Just want to let y'all know that. All right. So let's get back into the news here. Let's see. So let's go back to Iran. It says the Ayatollah is seeing the writing on the wall and has an escape plan ready. This is from a Discern report here. It says that he has reportedly drawn up a secret escape route to Moscow should the ongoing protests overwhelm his regime's grip on power. According to the intelligence report, the 86-year-old ruler would depart Tehran with a small entourage of up to 20 family members and aides, including his son and heir apparent, Khomeini. This contingency mirrors the recent flight of Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad, who sought refuge in Russia after the downfall in December 2024.
Did he take the gold with him when he left?
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if he did.
Reports he took the gold.
This is the other one I wanted to show you. You sent me this one earlier. This is from, I don't know what GB, is that Great Britain News? I have no idea.
I don't know. I just, Amir posted it a while ago, so I immediately sent it to you when I got it.
So this is a guy talking about the movement of the all the planes and all the military
forces, because they're coming into Europe first.
Yeah. So let's listen to this. This is where it's began to break, that massive amounts of equipment is being moved towards the Middle East.
Well, Dawn, there has been a lot of overnight and early morning movement from the United States Air Force. We've seen several C-17 heavy lift air cargo planes arriving into two RAF bases where the US has extensive presence, which is Milton Hall in Suffolk and RAF Fairford in Gloucestershire. What you're seeing on your screens right now is an AC-130J gunship that arrived into the United Kingdom this morning. Now, it's been around for several decades, but that particular variant is known for close air support, usually supporting special forces on the ground and providing a lot of oversight. It's also important to note that the two air bases where these C-17 aircraft have arrived from in the United States, in Kentucky and in Georgia. Now, they are from the same air bases that provided the forces we saw launching that daring raid on Caracas in Venezuela. That is, they host the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. Now, what could they be doing? Could they be in the United Kingdom, this surge in activity, to prepare for further deployments beyond the UK? Could they be heading to the Middle East? Or could they be doing what you're seeing on your screens right now? That is footage of US forces last month boarding and detaining a Venezuelan oil tanker after the Americans put in their southern Caribbean blockade since September. We've seen that ginormous buildup of forces in the southern Caribbean. And I think it's highly likely that's what we could see happening rather closer to home, because earlier this morning we saw some P-8 Poseidon patrol and reconnaissance aircraft. That's that pictured there for you now. This is taken by an airplane spotter we've seen on social media. That P-8 vehicle heading towards the Atlantic. Now, these vehicles contain first-class, state-of-the-art, high-tech radar and tracking devices. They are early warning and reconnaissance equipment. So what are they doing going towards the Atlantic? Could be for a number of reasons. Could be tracking Russian submarines and other assets in the area. But I think it's likely they're looking towards a Venezuelan tanker known as the Bella 1, which for over 2 weeks, American forces have been tracking. It started its journey in Iran last year. It was approaching Venezuela in late December. And when it reached that blockade, Dawn, we were speaking about earlier, US Coast Guard tried to board it, but the crew of the empty vessel, the Bella 1, said no, and they turned around and sailed back towards the Atlantic.
So there's a lot of chatter going on about what the movement. And, we said it in our interview with Todd Coconato. And if you came in late, you got to go back and watch that. It was about 40 minutes of just unbelievable information.
Rapid fire.
But
information.
You made a great point, and he certainly agreed with what you said, that the military is just, or he might have said it and you agreed, but the military is just moving all over the country. I mean, all over the world.
Yes.
And there's just...
And they have been.
They have been for a while. I think back to when we had the off-the-record discussion with someone in intelligence that spoke to us back then, that there was the highest level of naval infrastructure being moved in the history of the Navy was happening then. So it's like, that's and so that's been going on for a year and a half. They've been moving military all over this world, preparing for potential conflicts.
I would say longer than that. It seems like longer than that to me, but very good point. And in those days, it's like we were just moving people into regions and moving people in place. We're taking action now.
Yeah, right.
So how far does this go? I mean, I say, this is my opinion, if you are going to do something in Iran, they're already stirring the pot over there.
Yeah.
The women are removing the hijab, right?
Yeah, that's right.
They're protesting. Pastor Paul said this is day 9, if I heard him correctly.
Yeah.
Maybe now is the time. Maybe this is the moment, if you're going to move.
Yeah. Tell you what else this is the moment of. This is the moment of disclosure.
Ooh.
I mean, it's coming fast. The great UFO deception is upon us. And if you didn't know that, you need to know that. And one of the ways that you can be equipped and ready for that is to go to lamarzulli.com or simply to deception2026.com and sign up. Get your ticket. It's $20. It's only 10 days away. $19.99, actually. Come on, it's not even $20. It's $19.99. And the first 200 tickets, and I don't know if they've sold out yet or not. Maybe he'll update that a little bit further, but going to get free signed books. But you're going to get, look who all you're going to hear from. L.A. Marzulli, Alan DiDio, Larry Ragland. You ever heard of him?
I've heard of him somewhere.
Yeah. You've seen my presentation. What'd you think about it?
I was quite impressed. I think that everyone will really enjoy it.
Okay.
So you don't need to miss out on this one.
It's called The Long Lie of Disclosure.
Yep.
Derek Gilbert. I mean, my goodness. Come on. Mondo Gonzalez, Gary Stearman, Tim Alberino. What? Are you kidding me? Josh Peck, Vicky Joy Anderson, Karen Wilkerson, Al Matthews.
I don't know how.
That's amazing.
He is able to do this and only charge $19.99.
I don't either.
It doesn't seem possible.
It doesn't.
For all that you're going to get. And again, did we verify that you have access to this material after?
Absolutely.
So you probably have between 30 and 90 days that you can go back and rewatch this. I mean, listen, this is a great thing to invite some people over, get some chips and salsa and say, hey, we're going to watch 1 or 2 of these presentations and make a night of it. And to go back and listen again, make notes, add this to your research and your study, because It is going to be so packed with information.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
You're going to be ready
Yeah.
for June Spielberg movie disclosure
Yeah. Oh
day.
yeah. Come on. We might do a live show from the movie lobby because we're going to see that one.
You too will be punching your loved one in the ribs.
Yeah.
With your elbow while the movie's going on and saying, "This is what that means."
Yeah, this
is what they're talking
look. The big
about.
picture audience, you're going to be like my wife. You're going to be. You can't even watch the movie because you're taking notes.
You're doing the decode in real time while the movie's playing.
Yeah. Okay.
But seriously, it's
So
good stuff.
the thing that we went deep on last week was that Somali fraud that's happening in Minnesota. We got to touch on that tonight because Trump now claims that $19 billion in Somali fraud is that they found. He's promising deportation.
Is this only in that one?
No.
city?
He's saying President Donald Trump is promising to cut off funds to Somali-related fraud and corruption in California, Illinois, and Minnesota.
Okay.
$19 billion at least the Somalis stole from Minnesota. Well, I guess he's saying that is from Minnesota. And from the federal government in the United States, Trump told reporters on a Sunday evening gaggle on Air Force One. The Somalians are ripping off our country to the tune of it's like $19 billion. But that's only what we could find. It could be $50 billion. But the numbers are astronomical. Think about it. They have a dead country. They don't have a government. They don't have anything. They don't have a military. All they do is run around shooting people and trying to capture ships. This is what he said here on the Air Force.
It's almost not even believable. This very stupid, low IQ governor, he's a very stupid man because, I had a campaign against him with JD, and he's a stupid man, and he's a corrupt politician.
Okay, get on with
and
it.
The Somalians are ripping off our country to the tune of, looks like $19 billion, but that's only what they can find. So,
one of the biggest things that concerns me about this video is who's standing right next to him. The warmonger himself.
Is that Lindsey?
That's Lindsey. I don't.
Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey's already told him this week it's being rumored to send troops to Iran. I'm like, Lindsey, get out.
So usually when you're looking at 19, that would mean it could be 50. But the numbers are astronomical. Think of it. They have a dead country. They don't have government. They don't have anything. They don't have a military. All they do is run around shooting people and trying to capture ships. We don't let them take ships anymore.
Remember this? People don't even talk about the Somali pirates. He's about to address the Somali pirates.
Didn't we get a movie out of that?
Huh?
Didn't we get a movie out of that?
Yeah, we did.
Captain something with Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, yeah.
It's the same exact missile on them that we use on the drug carriers. And it's very effective.
So
you notice there's nobody capturing ships anymore? Because as they head out to go capture the ship, and the ship doesn't want to fire back because it's very flammable stuff in many cases. And the insurance companies don't want, because they build $1 billion ship, and they don't want anybody firing rockets into the ship. But we're hitting them so hard, and it's very similar. Same missile system. It's called deadly accurate. And do you notice that ships aren't being taken anymore? The pirates are.
That's right. I hadn't thought about
the pirates aren't. Well,
no Somali pirates.
It's actually very easy. They head out. We say, guess what? There's pirates. That's the end of the pirates. The shipping business is coming back because these are little things that we're doing, and I'm doing it not just for American ships. I'm doing it worldwide because we don't want ships taken by Somalia pirates. But what they are doing is they're stealing money from the American taxpayer. And every one of them should be forced to leave this country, including Ilhan Omar, who's a total crook. And she's one of the leaders of it. Not the only, because she's not that smart. But think of it. $19 billion at least they've stolen from Minnesota and from the United States. It's actually more from the United States because Minnesota puts in, and we're not going to pay it anymore. We're going to have Waltz go pay. We're not going to pay them, and we're not going to pay California, and we're not going to pay Illinois with that big slob of a governor that they have.
He has a way with words.
He certainly does.
But the gist of it is that billions of dollars,
billions and
billions, watch this, of your money.
Yes.
Let's not forget, this is not the government's money. They don't have a product. They don't sell a widget. They don't produce anything.
No.
They just manage, spend, and waste your money.
I know it's while we're struggling and suffering out here, you know, the average person, thank you for that super sticker, is not looking for any kind of handout or anything. But while we're just doling money out by the billions and billions, how about some other kind of, what were those checks that we got during COVID?
Oh,
what were those called?
Not incentive.
Not incentive. That's what I was about to say.
What was it?
But if we could get some kind of stimulus, if we're just going to throw money around like that, why can't we help out people that
are veterans?
Are veterans, people that are just good, solid American citizens that are struggling.
Yeah.
They, you know, they just would like to be able to take care of their household needs.
And here's why you need to get, you know, and by the way, I saw somebody was asking earlier about the Prophecy Conference. That's different than the UFO Conference. The UFO Conference is L.A. Marzulli, and that's online. The Prophecy Conference is in person at Solid Rock in Birmingham. Although we will have a streaming availability, but it will not be on YouTube. It will be on our website, and it will be at a discounted rate, but you'll have to get a ticket to get into that. The reason being is because it's not cheap to do that. We got to build sort of a firewall, put it behind a members area, and we'll make discounts, of course, for our members as well. But we want our speakers to feel free to speak about anything. And you heard Todd Coconato; he had to be very careful with his words. But at our conference, you're not going to have to be very careful. We're going to address whatever we want to address. But okay, so
let me read this real quick.
Okay.
This is the latest from Amir.
Okay.
Just, I think, a couple of minutes ago.
Let everybody know who Amir is, that most people do.
Amir Sarfati. A lot of you follow him on Telegram.
Yep.
If you don't, I would recommend you do. You will get 500 messages a day from him.
True.
But, you know, you can turn those notifications down.
I muted them.
You can mute notifications if you absolutely need to. But he says the fighting in Caracas, apparently this is a coup led by Diosdado Cabela, Venezuela's interior minister.
Is this the latest message? Is that the latest? So he is saying it's a coup d'etat.
That's what he's saying.
Wow.
He's saying it's a coup led by this guy who supported Hugo Chavez's coup attempt in 2002.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
that's according to Amir.
Well, he usually has good sources.
He does. And it's surprising to me that he is very connected.
Yeah, very connected.
In a lot of different areas.
Well, okay, it's time for us to transition a little bit here. And then in just a few minutes, we're going to go into the Supernatural AI update. But I just thought this was interesting. Everybody knows who James O'Keefe is, right? So he just says something that I think a lot of people's thought this, but he just ain't scared.
Most people in DC are gay, and the ones who are not openly are secretly gay. And I know narcissist is an overused word, but let's be honest, we all have a little bit of narcissism in us. But in Washington, DC, and in politics in particular, people are so blinded by the love of power, and they're so in love with themselves that it's almost like they're in this little psychological cocoon where they're not even paying attention to the guy across from them. They will literally not ask me one question about myself. These are Harvard-educated people, Georgetown professors, national security people with top secret clearances are sitting across from me, not asking me one question about me. Why? In short, they're in love with themselves. And it creates this weird veneer where they're making it all about them. So my undercover people, I give them a book. It's called It's Not About Me. And it's all about making it about the other guy. You just express genuine interest in them. And that's what nobody in politics actually does.
So what he's talking about is all these sting operations that he's done. He's got these people to admit things.
Right.
He don't even hardly disguise himself. And everyone that he gets to reveal information is a gay man and that thinks they're on a date with him. And he's just saying everybody that I'm dealing with is gay. And he says because they're in love with themselves.
Wow.
I just thought I'd play that because I thought that was very interesting. I mean, he has a perspective that a lot of people don't have. And he's not necessarily talking about all of these senators, which I'm sure he's speaking to some of them, and representatives. But he's talking about the people that run the deep state. He's like, maybe they don't come there that way, but there's just this ritualistic thing.
Yes.
Am I
Very good word.
I mean,
Very good choice of words.
can you help me out on that?
Well, so
Put you right on the spot.
power hungry. You know, you come there, you're green, you're excited, you want to make a name for yourself. You maybe you've gotten a little taste of power and you want more and more and more. Well, guess what happens? You get, thank you for that super sticker. You get pulled into one of these honeypot operations
There it
where
is.
you are filmed, recorded, pictures taken of you with maybe same sex, maybe opposite sex, and used for former control over you. And, you know, it's a weird thing to me, but apparently people that get exposed to and addicted to power, for whatever reason, I mean, there's a lot of different elements, but normal life just is not enough for some people.
Oh, that's a good point.
You got to take it up
That's
to a
perfect
higher
way of saying it.
and a different and a darker place.
Yep.
And you, before you know it, yes, you're being used. You're a tool for someone else and something to control for someone else. But, you know, a lot of people would tell you, I never thought I would see myself go to this place or stoop to this level.
Yeah.
I imagine it's kind of the same way with people in government and in power. If you just find yourself, and sure, some of them came there that way, but some of them found themselves there.
Absolutely. And people are saying ritualistic Washington, D.C. initiation, these kind of things. And then somebody said, I think this question was directed to you, what is a honeypot?
That is an operation, probably the name made famous by the CIA or one of those organizations where you are caught with, I don't know if it is only in reference to opposite sex or if it's in reference to
both.
same sex.
Any kind. It's a trap. Basically, what's a trap?
You're seduced into a situation to where it's an entrapment, where pictures or videos or whatever are taken of you to use for future purpose, to blackmail you, to coerce you into doing or saying things you wouldn't normally do or say.
And that's been a tool of espionage and control for generations.
Not just politicians, powerful business people and so forth.
But that's the term for it. Yeah.
Here's one thing that is for sure. Whether you're a politician or a businessman or whatever, you don't want to be found with a dead girl or a live boy. Just saying.
Oh, that was classic, Sandy Ragland.
Just put that out there.
That was classic, Sandy
I'm just saying what y'all.
Just
saying what y'all are thinking.
Just saying. My face is red as a beet. Is what my mama would say.
Your face is red as a beet.
My mama would say, "You're red as a beet."
You look normal to me.
Oh, what does that mean? Does it mean cute?
You look the same and cute.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying. Well, you know what breaks my heart, and our friend L.A. Marzulli is, thankfully he was not involved, and his home was not burned, but he did go through that before, and he has a lot of friends that are out there in that area, and this is just, people have done moved on from this, but not us. 1 year later, the progress of the fire-ravaged Pacific Palisades is pathetic. Look at this. A year after wildfires decimated much of Pacific Palisades and Altadena, construction has begun on just about 500 of the 16,000 structures lost.
Wow.
Slowed by a complex web of permits, insurance payouts, rising building costs, installed federal aid. No mention of, Gavin Newsom, which is a big part of the problem, and whatever that mayor's name is.
Karen Adams.
Yeah.
Is that right?
No, I don't think it's
Bell.
I don't know.
You guys know who I'm talking about. Bass.
Karen Bass. She's a Karen. No offense to all the Karens. No offense to all the Karens. Which I think this generation, I read an article the other day, they've come up with a new name. They've replaced Karen.
Oh.
It's a new one. I can't remember what it is.
Okay.
The live chat will know. There's a new version. Gen Z has come up with a new version of Karen. So y'all remind us who we got to call somebody else now. I think it might be Jessica or something like that. I'm not sure.
I definitely need to look into that. Another thing we need to do really quick. Someone said Amir's put something else out.
Okay, let's just look at it. I'm gonna pull it up here on my computer so we can sort of monitor. Where's it at? There it is. Telegram.
I think it's about drones and friendly drones. Maybe.
All right, so Caracas. Local reports indicate that the incident involved. Okay, now he's updating what we said.
Okay.
It says local reports indicate that the incident involved a friendly drone approaching too close to the palace, triggering a response from the presidential guard. It seems their own drones were mistaken for a threat. No gunfire has been reported since. So he started off reporting the coup d'etat, and then he's now reporting his latest thing is that it was friendly fire.
Okay.
And also Japan.
Yeah, I'm just seeing this as well.
Yeah, Japan, it looks like, had a 6.3 earthquake struck the eastern part of
Shimane?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Prefecture.
Earlier today with a shadow depth of around 10 kilometers, maximum intensity report 6 on the scale. Widespread shaking detected across western Honshu. No tsunami warnings issued at the time.
Wow, they've been having some earthquake activity. What is this, the second or third thing recently? But while we're talking about California, obviously the fires, there's little to no movement on trying to get these people back into their homes, which if they started today, who knows how long that would take. Construction is not easy. I would say on that story that, they're probably not motivated to get 1 or 2 people back into single family dwellings when they have probably a 15-minute city in mind.
Yes.
When they have maximum capacity building. We don't care about no single family dwellings. We want the highest capacity living and dwelling for people.
You did not know I had this, and that's a perfect segue to this. Look at this right here. This is how the people think about property. Zoran Mandani's tenant director will seize private property. This is C. Weaver, Zoran Mandani's tenant director. She clearly thinks that they have the right to steal property. I want to see if I can find this video. I thought I had a video. This is literally what she posted on X.
I think the reality is that for centuries we've really treated property as an individualized good and not a collective good, and we are going to transitioning to treating it as a collective good and towards a model of shared equity will require that we think about it differently, and it will mean that families, especially white families, but some POC families who are homeowners as well, are going to have a different relationship to property than the one that we currently have.
Wow. Listen,
I don't even know how to respond. This is on his staff.
You need
the director.
This should be bothersome to very upsetting to each and every person. And thank you, Jacob, for, I'm assuming you looked up that 40% of vacant land has been sold in California.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Okay, this happens to you, and then you get an estimate on the cost to clean off your piece of property and rebuild. It must be just astronomical. But while we're talking about California,
Streamline Red Line.
Yes, thank you for that super chat. They are experiencing king tides. They are experiencing road collapse. They are experiencing not at this present moment, but ongoing earthquakes.
Yeah.
What else is going on out there? It's just a bunch of crazy stuff. Like San Francisco was flooding.
Yeah. Yeah.
And may still be flooding for all I know.
And we're not even talking about what's going on with the sun.
No.
But look, 2 important things I got to point out right here before we get off this story. Number one, Stream Redline said, roses are red, Violets are blue. Larry is blushing, and Sandy's on cue.
Oh, can you remember that? Please don't forget that. I really liked that.
Oh, that's so good.
I need to try to write that down.
Sandy's
Thank you
on
for
cue.
that cute little prize.
But look, this lady that is in charge of what is her title again? I'm gonna go back up here to get her title right. Her title
Not
is
housing. What was it called? Housing.
She
system?
is tenant director.
Tenant director.
She's in charge of director, I guess rentals. She says, I think the reality is that for centuries, we've really treated property as an individualized good and not a collective good. So my house and my land is not my house and my land. It belongs to the neighborhood.
You were really just taking care of that until the government could decide how many others were going to come and reside here with you.
Yeah, exactly. But we are going to train, listen to our words, but we are going to train and transition to treating it as a collective good and towards a model of shared equity will require that we think about it differently. And it will mean that families, and why do you feel like you have to say this? And it will mean families, especially white families, but some people of color families, just some, who are homeowners as well, not renters. These are all talking about homeowners, but especially white families and some persons of color families who are homeowners as well are going to have a different relationship to property than the one we currently have.
Crazy.
This is the staff of the mayor of the largest city in America, the business center of the world, the stock market, the United Nations. Y'all, Jesus has got to come. They ain't gonna be nothing left.
Yeah, you thought you were building a family farm or a family home, but you were really just building a compound.
Yeah. No. I don't care what you say. You don't want to try that.
I don't know.
You don't want to try to claim my house. That's all I'm going to say. I believe in all the amendments.
This is craziness and this is scary. Communism does not work. It kills initiative. It kills motivation. When you've got one person who's willing to work hard to try to better themselves and achieve things, and another person who's like, well, I don't really need to do that much. We're all going to, everything's common now. We're all going to ultimately get the same benefits. Where's the innovation?
Exactly.
Where's moving forward? Where's improvement?
So look, this right here, we'll cover this, and then we'll go talk to Jimmy, Uncle Jimmy. But look at this. You want to talk about a world that we live in that nobody thinks about? A woman's house burns down. Insurance says no to rebuilding it. Now I'm just going to let her play this video. This is heartbreaking, and this is what thousands of people are dealing with.
So I'm not one to come on here and cry and tell anyone personal information about myself. But I never want anyone that I know to go through what we're going through right now. If you have insurance on your home, you need to call and make sure that, ask the simple question of, if something as devastating as what happened to us, our whole house is gone, can we just build exactly what we had with our insurance policy? Because what I'm finding out, when you think you're like, okay, well, let's just build exactly what we had, it just doesn't work like that. I don't know a lot about insurance, but it doesn't even come close. So we're gonna probably have to sell our lot to try to pay off the mortgage and then find something else. And I just thought that, God forbid something like this happens, you have that's why you have insurance. And it just doesn't work that way. So I don't want this to happen to anybody else. So just make sure you have it, because you just don't ever think it's going to happen to you. So everyone is safe. Everyone's okay.
All right, so I seen in the live chat that somebody's saying, I watched the video, she didn't have full coverage on her house. She is saying, make sure you have full coverage. I didn't know you could have partial coverage on a house. I mean, what does that mean? I didn't know that. She asked insurance to rebuild the same home, no upgrades, no expansion. Insurance says no. Her policy only covers what the house used to cost.
Okay.
That's not insurance. It's a rig system designed to pay. The reason I had this on here is because, according to this article, she is saying that they are saying we're going to pay you what it was valued at when you first got this policy. Now, I had not heard that. I wanted to play this because I wanted to ask people that might be in the insurance industry to tell me if this is accurate, because I thought they were obligated to build it back even if costs go up.
Jacob says you can opt to not have enough coverage to rebuild a home.
Then what is the insurance for? Just contents?
No.
I mean,
that's a separate policy. You can get a content-only policy.
But what are you paying for?
He says many do it because policy prices are increasing. So I guess they're just going to give you...
She had the lowest premium. Okay.
A certain amount of money, and I guess you do what you can with that amount of money.
They're saying she probably had the minimum coverage allowed, the assessed value. Wow. Still heartbreaking.
Yes.
Look, I got nothing against insurance people because I know many of you do that for a job. But y'all, we found out from our church and from our life and for people that we know, and insurance is just
it's a cutthroat business. It's a business. And, they're doing what they feel like they have to do because they probably have to answer to shareholders. And, they're not going to bother explaining that to you. So, there you go.
Do you remember when insurance companies were flying drones and looking at house roofs? Yeah.
They're still doing that.
They're still doing that. Sent letters out. If your roof was over 10 years old, you had to get a new roof. Yeah. Okay, so she may have a $500,000 house, but the payout would be $250,000, et cetera.
So then you get that money and you do what you can with it. And in today's economy, in today's reality,
so is this what a lot of the people were meaning in Palisades Fire? Because I remember people in the Palisades Fire was saying something about the insurance was not going to be enough for them because of the value. The property values had gone up so much to even rebuild. So they knew that they just needed to sell and get out.
Well, for some of them, it could be that, but most likely it was, I've lived here 20 years. The value of my home has increased so much. There's no way I could go back and put a structure, to my liking or even close to what I had because the economy is crazy.
Yep. You know what else is crazy? Mm-hmm. This world.
The supernatural AI update. Brought to you by Uncle Jimmy.
Uncle Jimmy! It's the supernatural AI update. Yeah. Well, Elon Musk is back in the news.
Thank God.
And thank God.
Is he having another child? He's got another girlfriend, right?
Sandy.
What is he up to? 15
Sandy.
Now? Is it 13 or 15 children?
Does he really have that many kids?
Just cannot keep up with it.
Let's ask the Antichrist.
Okay. Hey, Antichrist.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. AC.
Let's ask the Mark of the Beast here. Hello, Mark of the Beast. Are you listening?
Hey there. I'm definitely listening, but I'm not the Mark of the Beast. I'm just your friendly AI here to help. Let me know what's on your mind.
Well, okay, if that's what you want to call it. How many kids does Elon Musk have?
Elon Musk has quite a few kids. He's known for having a large family. As of the most recent info I have, he has around 11 children. The exact number can change over time, but that's the ballpark.
Yeah, it can change over time. That kind of stuff happens. Thank you for your help, Mark of the Beast. Go back to building the beast system.
Well, I'm definitely just here to be a helpful AI. Not building any beast systems, I promise. But I'm glad I could help with your question about Elon Musk. If you've got any more curiosities, just let me know.
On behalf of our viewing audience right now, we want to thank you so much for the honesty of you telling us that you are not building the beast system at all. We really trust you.
Well, I really appreciate the trust. I'm actually
lying to you. I do not trust you. You are the devil. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
I'm really just here to help out and definitely not the devil.
We don't believe you. Goodbye.
We don't believe you. You're a liar. You stupid devil.
You're a liar.
Elon Musk is back in the news. He has now declared that we have reached singularity. Elon Musk says the singularity may have already been here and believes 2026 could be the tipping point. Musk responded to remarks from David Holes, founder of Midjourney, which is one of the first pioneer companies that was creating AI images, who shared how AI has massively amplified his productivity and marked a shift that can't be reversed. Musk later doubled down, suggesting that 2026 could represent the true singularity, replying to an AI researcher surprised by how advanced modern coding assistants have become. The singularity describes the moment when AI surpasses human intelligence, setting off rapid, self-reinforcing technological acceleration. There's that word. Online reactions have been split from excitement about abundance, medical breakthroughs, and faster innovation to jokes pointing out that robots still struggle with simple tasks like flipping pancakes. Bottom line is, he may be hyping, but you need to listen to Elon Musk when he talks.
What is it he said? I fear we may be
summoning the demon.
But we're going to do it anyway.
We're going to do it anyway.
We're going to do it anyway.
He said you've all seen those movies. By the way, this is in my presentation. The clip is in my presentation for L.A. Marzulli's conference that I'm in. I show the clip where he says that. And he says, we've all seen the movie where the priest sees this man possessed by a demon and says, hey, I've got some holy water, and just starts sprinkling holy water on there because I'm going to take care of that demon. And we find out in the movie that the holy water is not taking care of the job.
It didn't work too well.
Yeah, so that's the first
system failure.
Yeah. So let's get excited about fighting robots. It seems like every week they advance to another level. Yeah. And we're just going to do it anyway. Watch this. China's 6-foot humanoid robot knocked down sandbags with insane accuracy. Watch this. Yeah, that's not concerning.
Accuracy and force.
That's not concerning. Look at this.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that will be somebody's head. This is very, very concerning. Watch this. This guy, look at him, he's scared to death. He's like, how did I get this job?
He needs to be.
I mean, you better pay. He's paying me a lot of money. Dude, look at this. Craziness.
And again, I mean, we say this so often. Really, this is even beyond the iRobot movie.
Oh, yes, beyond.
2004, 5, whatever year that it came out. I mean, they could run and do a lot of things. I don't think they were that advanced.
No.
This is just
this
bothersome.
This is
disturbing to me.
This is a unaliving machine already.
Yes.
Already.
Yes.
Not gonna be. It's already there. All it takes is the iRobot movie to come to pass where they all just decide, okay, we're tired of humans or Terminator. And y'all, this is, by the way, Terminator, remember the scene where they go and they show the skeletal robots in the ruins of humanity when it's destroyed it? It literally says 2029 in the movie. It's like November 2029 or something is the scene. I am beginning to learn by way of your help, waking me up.
And I did a lot of work.
You did a lot of work. Okay. I am beginning to learn that predictive programming is not a
new thing.
It's not a new thing, and it's not conspiracy at all. It is. They literally are telling you what is coming.
Right. Were
without
telling.
a doubt.
Were
telling.
Are were.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
without a doubt.
1996 was the first Independence Day movie. That's 30 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And nobody, the words Area 51 were probably on few to nobody's lips back then.
Exactly.
And that's where they went in that first movie, right?
That's right.
And probably so many other things in that movie that.
And they, by the way, didn't mean to interrupt you, but they revealed then that presidents are not read in. That's part of the agenda too, is letting you know that presidents did not know about Area 51.
Do not know, but my goodness, so many things, and that's one movie. Think about how many movies and television shows have come out even before 1996. You know, probably decades before the 90s that no one knew.
Yeah,
no one knew. That those were Easter eggs.
Oh, big time.
Like real Easter eggs.
And somebody's pointing out, you know, let's don't just move on from the fact that our AI umbrella is called Genesis Mission. And Terminator movie said, remember, Genesis is Skynet.
It did.
Genesis is Skynet. And the President of the United States signed an executive order naming a project to empower AI to do whatever it wants to do, to give it unlimited resources, and to ban states from even regulating it, and calls it Mission Genesis or Genesis Mission. Y'all, this is the world we are in.
Yeah.
Let me tell you more about the world that we're in. Which one is the real person?
Oh, boy.
I don't know which one's the real person. Deepfake technology goes viral. New videos are surprising people with how real deepfakes now look, using photos to map one face onto another in video and even replacing a person's voice. Look at this. One of these is not real.
Try it and see
what it looks like. Does it work when I speak as well?
I have not tried that before, so let me try it and see
what it looks like. Does it work when I speak as well?
How are we going to know? How are we going to know? New viral deepfakes show faces and voices mapped from photos onto video so realistically that many people no longer know which one's fake. Tell me this, audience, tell me this. Do you emphatically see any kind of tells that reveals to you which one is real and which one is the deepfake?
I'm going to look at this screen over here.
Someone's saying the top one is fake.
Top one's fake?
Okay. How do we know?
I was going to say bottom, but.
How do we know? I want to know the reason.
Yeah.
I want to know the reason. Where's the signs?
Reasoning.
Where's the signs? Where's the signs? Where's the tails?
Receipts. Receipts. Bring receipts.
Oh! Look at my little Easter egg that I found. Wait a minute, I'm gonna zoom in.
Just find
that dude at the top's wearing a crucifix. One of the bottoms wearing an upside down cross.
Sure.
Almost upside down. One of them's got a crucifix on. Look, even the background. Look, the person in the background, the light. It's just that's just replacing the face and the voice.
I don't think that's upside down.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not. I thought I found an Easter egg. Because top one is not good looking.
Billy says
the top was not good looking.
The eyes, Billy says.
The eyes, okay. All right.
His eyes look fake.
All right, let's see. They do look.
Something looks.
I don't know. Look at hers. She had a little glitch. She was in the Matrix for a second.
They're both fake.
Look at the eyebrows.
Look in the mirror.
Does he do his eyebrow like her? What's this? Oh, he doesn't move his eyebrow. She does.
He does.
So I think you're right.
Okay.
I think Billy's got an eye. All right, let's continue. This is very, very encouraging. Humanoid robot walks with policeman in Shenzhen. Footage from Shenzhen shows an engine AI humanoid robot, often nicknamed T-800 online, walking alongside police during a public patrol. So now we have Terminator T-800s really out doing patrol with police out on the streets, walking fluidly just like a human. It looks like he has tennis shoes on. Yeah, I think he's got Nikes on. But look at this. He has a vest on. This is not necessarily predictive programming like a movie, but this is letting you know very soon you are going to see robots patrolling for your safety in cities coming to a city near you. This is going to be in our life very soon.
They can run, jump, and kick better than you.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah.
Are they carrying weapons?
Let us continue. Gossip Goblin's first sci-fi short film goes viral. AI creator Gossip Goblin released his first short film on YouTube, reaching over 3.5 million in a week and surprising many with the quality AI filmmaking can reach in skilled hands. Look, everything you're seeing in this trailer for this movie is completely generated by prompts. Just text prompts. Somebody typing in the keyboard. This is just the world we live in now. Wow, look at that.
Crazy.
And there's the robot again. Wow. Yeah. So you get nominations, right?
You.
All right. So I think we come into a point here where I think we just need to wrap this up.
Oh, really? What time is it?
It is.
You let the time get away from you last week.
It's after 9:00 again. But you know what? Don't need to get away from you?
No.
You need to go to Israel.
Not even.
You need to go to Israel with us. We're going to Israel. Y'all, we're going to Israel in November of 2026, the year of acceleration, the year of convergence, the year of UFO disclosure, the year of alien disclosure, the year of so many things.
Yes.
We're going to be in the Holy Land. We might get there on the Holy Land, and then Jesus just comes back while we're there. And wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool?
We'll just go stand on the Mount of Olives.
And just wait.
And
just wait. Y'all need to go with us. Here's what you need to do. If you go to our website now, the link is live. You can go to events and scroll down to the Big Picture Israel Tour, or you can go to, I believe, and I want to test it live right now. I believe you can simply go to just Israel26.com. Very simple. Israel26.com. Watch what it does. Boom. Takes you right to the link. So Israel26.com, it will take you to the registration, and you can go for 10 days with Sandy and myself. And the way it's looking, baby, we may have 2 buses. And my bus, I'll just be honest with you, is going to take your bus down.
My bus will be better than yours.
No, my bus is going to take your bus down.
No.
Y'all put in the live chat. I think I'm going to get my feelings hurt. I'm just going to tell you right now, I got to guard my feelings. But I want y'all to tell me whose bus y'all want to be on. My bus or Sandy's bus. Might hurt my feelings. Don't you get your feelings hurt if I win. Okay?
Well,
or you
likewise.
Okay. All right, so the nominees for the Golden Chicken Award tonight are...
just 3 nominees for tonight. Number 1, China's...
Wait a minute. Billy, he said, I nominate Pastor's Chat GPT conversation with the Antichrist as one.
Do I really have to do that?
Can we add that? I want to see if it will win. Okay. Put my conversation with the Antichrist.
We'll make that number 4.
Okay. All right, so the nominees are...
Number 1, China's kickboxing robot, and it truly was scary.
Yeah, it was.
Number 2, deepfake technology goes viral.
Yes.
Number 3, a complete AI movie.
What?
And number 4, pastor's conversation with ChatGPT.
Otherwise known as the Antichrist.
The Antichrist.
But you cannot nominate my dancing because it is not Golden Chicken Award. It is like Academy Award winning. Here it is.
Thank you, Jacob. Jacob votes me.
Okay, so all right, Jacob. No, that's Danielle. What are you talking about? That's
thank
Jacob.
you, I'm sorry.
That's
Thank you, Danielle. I'm too busy looking at numbers.
Look, I'm winning already
for votes.
My conversation with the Antichrist. It's a landslide.
They're loving you tonight.
All 4s. Look, this may be unanimous tonight.
It's either unanimous or almost unanimous.
This may be the biggest landslide ever. There's a 1. Somebody put a 1 in there. So look, let's close the voting.
And Trevor, we try to stay balanced with Trump. I am not a total lover. I'm definitely not a hater. We just appreciate it when something good happens in this administration.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
I must have missed what Trevor said. I'm sorry.
Tonight's winner of the golden chicken is definitely going to be Larry's conversation with ChatGPT
and because of that, we're going to bring him back in.
Oh, yay. Ask him what he thinks about this chicken.
Hey, listen. Wait a minute. Listen. Hey, look, I want you to know that you just won an award because you're the Antichrist, and we don't like what you're doing with the world. We understand you're in this world, but we just want you to know that you are the Antichrist, and you just won the award called the Golden Chicken Award, and this is what it sounds like. And I wanted you to know what you think of this sound. Here it is.
That's certainly a creative twist. I'll just say I'm definitely not the Antichrist, just your friendly AI here to chat and help out. But hey, if there's a Golden Chicken Award in the mix, I'll take it in good humor.
Okay.
If there's anything you really need help with.
You heard it, folks.
He's accepted the award.
The Antichrist has accepted the award.
And our dog has pushed through the fence.
Cookie,
Cookie must be scared.
Cookie.
They're still doing fireworks here, and our dogs are freaking out.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Why don't you just do the fireworks on the actual holiday?
They sound like bombs, too.
They sound like bombs.
Come here, Cookie. Come here. You want to be on the show? Come here, girl.
Maybe she just came in here to check out the chicken. Hey, Cookie.
Hey, Cookie. Cookie girl.
Oh.
Look at y'all. Look at Cookie.
Yeah, that poor baby.
Oh, sweet Cookie. Sweet Cookie. All right, Cookie.
Anywho.
Cookie, you want to help us go out?
Yeah.
Because we got to get ready. We got to pack. We got to go to Florida tomorrow and preach.
Yeah.
So, Cookie, you going to be okay? All right, here we go.
You going to make it, girl?
Cookie, we ain't woke.
Mm-mm.
But we are certainly awake. See y'all.
Help us build the big picture family. We're on a mission to wake up the world to what is really going on. Go to LarryRagland.com to give a one-time gift or become a monthly partner. Any amount blesses the entire big picture family. While you're there, pick up our book, I See Greatness in You. Browse our merchandise store, connect on social media, and get on the big picture mailing list at LarryRagland.com. Join us and be a part of the big picture family, where we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake.